You explained them that I come from Carpathia?
I told 2 of my 3 classes that you were born in a town near Munkac,
Munkac.
and it was part of Czechoslovakia, and then it became part of Hungary, and now it's part of Ukraine.
Okay.
That's it.
While it was Czechoslovakia, we were free because we have a president who was in America. He became an American citizen and fought in the World War I. His name was Masaryk. He married an American girl and came back to the Czech Republic, and he patterned himself according to America. So we had all the freedom that you can imagine. Went to school, we were just wonderful, everything. Except in 1939, Hitler was taking over Europe. So in 1939, he came to Munkac. I was already in college because our college started at 16. And they gave us the papers and they said, you are through. When the Hungarians came in, you are through at school, but when the war is over, you'll be back. Well, you believe it, right? So I came home and started to learn how to sew because they took away everything because they were friends with Hitler, So they took away all the permits for working parents. So what the children do, whatever they could help to get along and wait until the war is over, that's what I was doing. I was doing that till 44. I was also caught doing it, and they took me to a trial, which reverend's children I used to sew in secret, so he got me out of it because otherwise I would have been jailed as a 16-year-old. But he said, I didn't do it for money. I did it just as a favor because I was their friend. So I was locked up. But I kept on doing it because we needed the help. Okay, it came at 44. So we were struggling, but we were together. At 44, we hear the rumors that they're going to take us someplace and we'll be freed as soon as the war is over. Right after Pesach, I remember my father and my grandfather sat in the kettle with the pillows, and thanked for the freedom which we didn't have. But anyway, there's a rumor that they're taking us. Naturally, we don't want to believe it. Who would take anybody? We don't do anything wrong, just being Jews. So they took us, came one morning, get your bedding, get your valuables, and let's go. So they came by horse and wagon to take us. And we went to a factory. They took us there. We unloaded. It was an empty brick factory, which we all gathered there, and they told us on the ground, on the floor, where they stored brick, to take our belongings and keep a space. We were 7 of us. We were 6 of us, because my father stayed back for a reason that he worked someplace and sent us bread. So we took it as stride. What could we do? We were waiting for the war to be over. So we were there for 6 weeks. I worked in the kitchen, my sister, so we could supply some food. Not a lot, but it was sufficient. So we worked there, and we stayed there for about 6 weeks. All of a sudden, I think an order came that they're taking us to a better place where we are going to work. And again, they lied to us naturally each time. If the war will be over, you are going. So we all wanted to get on that train to go someplace because we felt it's going to be better. But before the train, no, first of all, yeah, we were there. I'm skipping this. First, they took us from the ghetto to the Auschwitz, which we didn't know. It took us 3 days to get there. First of all, we were in a cattle car. No sitting, only standing. So we had a little food that we took along from the ghetto, not much. And we were riding and riding and riding. And it was supposed to take from Munkach to, we don't know where we were going, to Germany, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, that's all. It took us 3 days because they were bombarding the tracks. So we were there, put together in that wagon where they ship cattle, hot, miserable, kids crying, infants, old people, you can imagine. They started the hunger because we didn't have enough food. And going to the toilet, they put in the middle of the train a pail to go to the toilet. Can you imagine how degrading and miserable that was to go? And when nature calls, you gotta go. So we finally decided we gotta go. So we go. That thing went over, spilled all over the train, smell, misery for 3 days. We just didn't know what to do anymore. Like I said, there were a lot of dead people, old ones, and infants died. So finally we arrived to Auschwitz. And 3 days later, which we wanted to get out of that misery, and we thought it's going to be better all the time. So we get out of this misery, and they start pushing us. I didn't even know when my grandfather was pushed off. They didn't put any stairs. I mean, young ones could jump, So they a capo that's called the helper. He was a Jewish guy from before, the SS capo. He came and says, I just want to tell you girls, you are older than you are, that's all. Because under 16, it's no good, that's all. But he said it in secret because they weren't supposed to hear. And I came down with my 2 brothers who were 8 and 10, hanging on to them because I just wanted them to be safe. So, again, that guy was following me. He says, those children aren't yours. I says, no, but they're my brothers. He said, give it to your mother right away. So I didn't do it because I wanted to. What did I know? All of a sudden we are at where they was going, right, and the one went to the crematorium, which we didn't know, with the children. They didn't want that, separate them, that they shouldn't be screaming, the kids and the parents. And that. So I took the kids and I was running with them to the right place where young people were going. He came again. He says, "You stupid woman." He starts screaming at me that the Germans should hear that he's screaming. "Give those children to your mother," because our mother was right after us. So he shoved them to my mother's arms. And if there's no help, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have this beautiful family, because some of my friends went with their brothers and sisters. They burned them just like the parents and the children. So all my mother said, "Take care of the sisters." I had 2 sisters, which are deceased now. All I did is, and my mother was running after us with the kids for a while, but again, the SS came and pushed her right back to the other side. And that's the last, I looked back, that's the last time I saw them, which I didn't know. She didn't look back. I was so surprised, but I still have the picture how she's walking with those 2 kids. Okay. All of a sudden I see their Arbeit macht frei. That means work will free you. So I said to my sisters, "You know what? We'll work. Who cares? As long as we get out." It wasn't true. We came there and they said to us, "You're going to take a shower, put all your belongings in, but you're going to get it back." Of course, it was a lie. We didn't know. And we took it neatly and put it and got us into the showers. We were lucky that we were in the showers, not in the gas chamber. I was lucky. So I felt, all of a sudden they say, "Okay, you're through." They gave us the striped gowns. "You're going to the barber." They sat us down, shaved off all the hair, all the pubic hair, everything, and that was it. So we saw already things are not good. We cannot believe these people. So we come and huddle when I come out. I don't recognize my sisters, and I wanted to watch them. So I started to call out by name. "Where are you? Come here." Or, we didn't recognize each other. All of a sudden, I see an SS woman walking towards me, and I thought she wants to tell me something. She came and showed me a big slap on the face. I tell you something, I didn't see the stars. I didn't see anything. I thought I was going to pass out. So finally, I somehow, and my sisters came closer, and we got to look each other to understand how we look, because we looked entirely different, and the stripes, things, and the shade there. After that, we say to the German woman who was overseeing everything, I said, "They told us we are going to see our parents." He says, "No, you're not." I said, "What do you mean we are not? They told us so." He says, "You see that burning there? That's where they are." Well, of course I didn't want to believe it. So we consoled ourselves, each other, and we said, maybe they are lying. So they put us the first night, I will make it short, into where we were sleeping. Was anybody at the
Has anybody in Auschwitz?
in school, Pete? But they
Oh, the Holocaust Museum. Have you been to the Skokie Holocaust Museum? They're going to the Washington one
Okay.
in a few
They
weeks.
have there where we were sleeping. We were about 12 people that they put. I cannot measure it. It was very small. We were supposed to sleep there. There was some kind of blankets which were horrible, and that's all they gave us. And they gave us pots and pans, pots to go for food when food is ready. Well, food was not ready so fast. So, where am I now?
You're in Birkenau.
Huh? So we are in Birkenau, and they take us to Auschwitz. Birkenau was the processing thing. They took us to Auschwitz, and it came the night, and we are going to sleep here. There were 3 bunks, one on top of the other. We were like sardines. We got used to not fighting with each other, and we were on top of each other. We just took it and waiting for a miracle. Next day, they take us out, and we stand out. 5 o'clock they woke us up to count if nobody ran away. We had to stand five in a row so they can count. That's the SS were counting. Hours they had us stand there. We were freezing because in Poland in the morning it's very, very cold. So we kind of got through this and got warm a little later. We went back to our bunks. There was nothing to do. Auschwitz was holding us just over and see what they'll do with us. They would have already got rid of us, but there were too many people coming in from Hungary. They had no room for us to process, to kill us. So, what else?
You can have this for a second. By the time that Etta and her family made it to Auschwitz, it was the summer, summer of 1944.
It was
You
May.
should know by that point
May.
exactly what you said. The Germans couldn't process them fast enough. So earlier prisoners would come and get tattoos. They didn't have, there were so many prisoners, so many Jews they were taking in, they didn't know what to do with them.
So we were staying there for about 6 weeks. The facility for toilets were horrible. They had in a row a lot of holes and a big hole dug out, and they put us, and that's where we had to go. Not where we wanted to go, just when the timing they took that this time is breakfast, this one is a little lunch, but anyway, that was. You can imagine how embarrassing that was. But again, we were prisoners. We didn't know what's next. We just waited from second to second. So after that, that was a routine. They gave us bowls. We went, in the morning was black coffee, that's it. For lunch, they gave us this much bread, you know how bread is cut, for a week, and we have to divide it for a week. And in the evening, they gave us soup, no spoons. So my sisters and I got a bowl, big enough for 3, which wasn't enough, naturally, and we counted the swallows. 3 times, then she 3, and so on, until we finished it. And then the bowl wasn't washed, it was nothing. After that, it came a report, not yet. After that, 6 weeks later, that was a routine. And not only that, as we were walking to the toilets, there were dead people, a mountain of dead people, one on top of the other. There. So at first day I was looking the other way, and then you know what happens. You just look. So that happened in Auschwitz. So we were there for 6 weeks, miserable. It couldn't even begin to tell you this. Then the order came, we should go take a shower. So we went to the place that they took us, and we had a beautiful room with wooden floors, and we wait for the shower, which it was never this way before, because the shower we went in, we went out wet, and we put on the
Uniform.
that one dress, no underwear. So we're sitting there hours, and we look at each other, what are they going to do with us? This is not a shower. Finally, and naturally, the fear is unbelievable. So that finally a German woman comes in, who took an SS woman, and she says, out, out, out. We were glad that we are going out. No shower, no nothing. She goes and tells us, you were just saved. You were going to go to the gas chambers. You were just waiting. So after that, the next morning, they came to take us someplace. So we were 2,000 in that barrack, 2,000 girls. And they took us on a train, and we were riding again. That was broken from bombardment. But they fixed it. They managed to take us to a place that they put us in a tent. So we were doing work like what they from bombardments they did, put loading stuff and to take it to a place. You know, the bricks that were broken and the iron, and we loaded iron on and everything. And so from there on, let me think and the bombs were falling around us, something terrible. It was so frightening because the SS ran into the bunkers and we were staying in the tent. But luckily, somehow we survived that 2,000 girls. From there, gentlemen come, which we didn't know naturally, I know now. You know, SM, the crop factories who make now coffee makers and all that stuff, they had ammunition factory. And they took us slave labor to work in ammunition. Naturally, the ammunition factory, the food was the same way, not enough food. You know, just swallowing it the way you could. And there were fights because some girl would say, you swallowed more. You know, when you're hungry, you're hungry. So they came and they started to take some girls out of the crowd. And again, we were worried, where are they taken? Well, I was selected and my sisters. They took us, so we were worried, but they took us to Essen, to that's the place where they have a lot of industry. So there we were working, food was hunger, unbelievable. Just think when you are hungry and you can get food later, or think that you cannot get enough to even close to it. So we come there and we work in the factory. I was working making the springs for the guns, and my sister was in another section. But one of my sisters was selected to work the night shift. The night shifts were horrible. The bombs were falling all over. You know, the British, the Americans, they didn't know. They thought that they're soldiers. And finally, my foreman was a German, but he was pretty nice. I said to him, get my sister, put her on the day shift. I'm worried they are bombarding, and I'm afraid she'll get killed. You know, he did me a favor, and she worked in the night shift. Next day we come from the work, we come to the barracks, flattened from the bombs. The girls, the night shift girls were killed, burned to death. I saved my sister. That's exactly what it was. But the bombing was terrible. We were walking to work, and the bombs were falling while we are walking, and the SS ran away to the bunkers, and we are running around the streets. We don't know where to go. So we stood under an apartment building. The worst thing we could have done, but we don't know what to do. So when it's over, they came and got us. So that was that area. Then after that was Essen. After the Russians and the Americans were coming close to the concentration camps, they tried to take us away from there. They shouldn't they shouldn't see us. So they came and took us to a place that was the most horrible. I have never seen anything like it. It's called Bergen-Belsen. That was a death camp. They all were death camps, but this was diarrhea, typhoid fever. People were standing like skeletons and falling down. Imagine coming in and seeing all this. And I keep on saying to myself, I will not let that happen to me. People were just falling down. No food, no nothing. So we stayed there. It was coming to a close. We didn't know that, but they knew. That's why they took us there, and they thought we'll die there, and that will be it. There were some sort from 2,500 remains. But anyway, we stayed there. I tried to survive. I told the SS woman, I know how to knit. I'm going to make her gloves and a shawl, and let her bring me the needles, and I'll do it for her. Of course, she brought it for me, and she gave me a little food, It was like not gold, not diamonds, life. I made it for her. I knitted it by the moon, because everything was dark because of the bombardment. So we kind of hoping whoever survives will get out of there. In the meantime, they wanted to bury the dead. So they pick out, again, me and my two sisters, and I come there, and it was a men's camp. They were dead all over, lying in the dirt. So they gave us ropes. We were like 70, 80 pounds, maybe not that much. They said tie the things on the ankles and pull them wherever we are supposed to. They took us there to put them in a pile. And what they did with them, whether they burned them or whether they put them in a, I don't know what they did from then on. But can you imagine all that facing? You had to have some strength and some hope. So we are finally there in misery. We slept again on the floor in Bergen-Belsen. I woke up. There is a dead, near me a dead, there is behind me. I get up, I'm still alive. And that was every night. More people, typhoid fever, dysentery, lice, name it. It was horrible. Well, finally, we hear that the help is near, that the soldiers are near. So we sure were quiet and hoping. So finally they came in. And the SS were still shooting girls. They were out running. So we were out. The soldiers, when they saw what it is, they were throwing up. That's how badly it affected them. The girls ran out and held the soldiers. They wouldn't let them go because we were so afraid that something else is going to happen, and these are our saviors. So that was then, and then 3 days later, I was well. I felt strong. 3 days later, I passed out. But we were already liberated. The soldiers were ruling over us. The SS were whoever they can catch, they put them in jail. So anyway, where am I?
You're at liberation, 3 days later.
Yeah, 2 days later I get sick, and I got typhoid fever, very high temperature, and naturally full of lice, full of dirt, full of everything. So the soldiers, we were liberated by the British. They took us to the army hospital. They took me and my younger sister. The youngest was well, still well. So they were taking us on the ambulance. My youngest sister wasn't allowed to go because we were typhoid, and she went, lay down, and caught the ambulance, the wheel, and says, "My sisters are not going anywhere unless you take me along." They didn't want to take her along. She says, "You're not going anywhere." And you know what? They took her along. I want to see where they're going. She was afraid again that they are separating us. So that was already, I was sick for a long time. Most people came home. But they took good care of us, the British. They washed us down, they put delicing. Imagine soldiers, naked girls. What could we do?